Welcome everyone. I'm Bini Ehrenberg and I'm here with my brother, Rabbi Ephraim Ehrenberg, the creator of Learning to Live. We're here to discuss a bit about the course. So the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the name Learning to Live is that it's quite presumptuous. To learn to live in 13 classes, 13 sessions, that sounds a lot.
Okay, the title, other than being a catchy title that can catch, I think it captures the essence of what we've tried to do here. I mean, it's a course. It's a course on living. I mean, we've taken out of Kabbalah, of Chassidut, out of the Torah, out of a very broad pool of knowledge, a skeleton of guidance of where all these concepts meet you in practical implication. That's what we've done. So that the name is exactly what it captivates, exactly what the course is looking to be. Does it actually achieve that aspiration? I think it does. In a sense, it does. You'll have to come and see. To judge the name, you'll have to come and see. But that's the point of the course. It's a practical teaching of life. I think what we wanted to say in that name, or like what I wanted to say when I chose the name, is that it's like a compulsory study for life. That's what I meant to say. That people don't even usually think they need to learn to live. It's not something that you don't need a license for it. But we don't all seem to be doing it very well. Like there are bumps on the way. So at some point it might occur to you that maybe there's what to learn. So that's what the title is looking to capture. That there is. You'll be surprised, but there's what to learn, and it's life altering. So that was the idea I tried to captivate in that title. That this is a compulsory course for life.
Okay, you mentioned that the course is based on Kabbalah and Chassidut. So if I have known prior knowledge of Kabbalah Chassidut, will I anyway be able to understand what's happening in the course? Or will...
So the short answer is absolutely. That's the entire point of what we've done here, is to completely strip it of all concepts, of all prior knowledge, all prerequisites. There's nothing you need to know in your background. Actually, there's no Judaism you need to know in your background. I mean, this could be your first class in Jewish life. It doesn't even, this could actually be your first class in life itself. You don't even have to be Jewish. There's no. It's not part of a practice whatsoever. It's just the bottom line of how God is viewing or guiding us to take the life He's creating. Like how to negotiate our personalities, how to negotiate our relationships, and it stems completely from the authentic sources of Kabbalah and Chassidut. There's something very true to the core on the one hand, but we've stripped it of all concepts. So there'll be no. I hope there'll be no Hebrew, no concepts. I mean, when I talk, so Hebrew jumps in, but as far as the syllabus is concerned, it shouldn't happen, and there's no requirements. Definitely not as far as concepts or prior knowledge. Just the bottom line of where this is integrated into your life. So you don't need any prior knowledge, not just in Kabbalah and Chassidut. You don't need any prior knowledge in anything. If you lived a day or two, then everything we're teaching here will be relevant, very relevant, and very, very familiar.
Do you think that that's something that's actually possible to do? I mean, you said that you don't even have to be Jewish, but obviously, I mean, the concepts are deeply, deeply Jewish. I mean, they're coming from Kabbalah and Chassidut. You said that
the concepts, the core concepts that this is striving from are definitely very typically Jewish or typically Kabbalistic or whatever, but we're not there to study the concepts. I mean, there won't be any theoretical study of abstract ideas. We're just studying the implication. So that's what this course is about. Is it doable? It's doable. You lose what you lose on the way. I mean, the connection and to touch it to its source. There's not much of that, and if that's what you're looking to acquire, like the downside here of this is that you're not learning. Like if you're looking to learn Kabbalah and Chassidut, so in a sense, this course won't give you that. It's just the practical end of things. On the other hand, the person who's been studying Kabbalah and Chassidut for a very long time, very often this is the link that people feel that they're missing, that they've been studying a lot of content that declares its relevancy, and the semantics of Chassidut are very soul-oriented and psychologically oriented, but not always do people see how to implement this, and where does this meet them in their daily life. So it remains theoretical. And even if you trust, you have a lot of faith in it, you believe in it, you know that there's what to take out, but not always do people feel that they're managing to do that. So even if you have a lot of background, it will give you that missing link. On the other hand, if you're looking for the higher links, then it doesn't have that. This course is not, it's not a background course in Chassidus or in Kabbalah. It's a course on life, but it strives completely from Kabbalah. And is that doable, stripped of all concepts? I think we've managed to do it. Ezrat Hashem, I think so.
Would you define the course as a religious course? Because it sounds like no, on one hand, and then on the other hand, I mean, I see who's giving the course, and I'm thinking it's going to be very religious.
Religion has a bad rap. I don't know what people mean when they say religious. It's not a practice. I mean, there's no practice to it. Obviously, the course, just like reality, is full of presence, divine presence, full of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, full of faith. But it's not what you'd call religiously dependent. It's universal. It's full of archetype, this depiction, and very fine, acute sensitivity to understanding the processes of self, of relationship, where our self meets our surroundings, where we meet HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how we relate to reality. It's faithful. Is it a religious practice? It's not a religious practice. No practicality no religious practicality to it. But some people might think that that's religion. I mean, in my mind, having a healthy, fruitful relationship with Hashem is called being religious. So this is definitely the core elements of being religious on that sense.
And would you say that the course is practical in a sense, or more?
It's very practical. It's very practical.
With day to day, they can hands-on feel the difference in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, yes, definitely. That's what the course is aspiring to do. Obviously, we're not able, or just not. It's not even that we're not willing. I'd like to, but it's not that we can walk the 9 yards for a person. I mean, the course will give knowledge and understanding and a point of view, and exercises, like a mental exercise of how to implement this in your life. But at the end of the day, obviously, every participant, I mean, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created your life and gave you your choice and your world and your context in order for you to integrate yourself into your reality. It's not anybody else's job to do that for you. It can't be done by anyone else. But there's guidance. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives guidance in His Torah. And this course is an opportunity to take that guidance in a very palatable, very negotiable way. And anybody who takes it and works with it and lives with it, not for 1 day or 2 days, but lives with it, believes in it, trusts in it, and implements it in his life, then absolutely, I guarantee you, I don't need to guarantee that. The Torah guarantees that this is something that will alter your life. It will alter your life in the way and in the direction where your life is naturally striving to be altered. But you need to do that integration, to do that work. So to hear the content, maybe someone would have to hear it once or twice. It's very practical. I mean, it's not a set of 15 push-ups and 2 chin-ups, but that's because 15 push-ups and 2 chin-ups won't change your life. But a lot of integration of your understanding, first of all, understanding and reflecting your patterns of thought, how your soul works. And more than that, also fashioning that and working with it and learning how to work with it, where there's a foothold to catch and change and move things in the direction that they should be moved. So if you acquire that knowledge and you work with it, then absolutely it will make a drastic change in everybody's life.
And what audience are you aiming for? I mean, it sounds broad, but how broad are you going? I mean, do you think this is relevant for everyone? Do you think this is
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, this could be your first entry into Judaism. This could just be your first entry into life. You don't even have to be Jewish for this course. This is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God's point of view on the life He's created. So that is a prerequisite for everyone in life. You should get a vantage point of how things are viewed from the guide's point of view, and as opposed to always experiencing things from within your subjective, very narrow picture of life. So yeah, this is relevant for anybody. It's relevant for Jews and non-Jews alike, for people who are long-time seasoned studiers of Kabbalah and Chassidut. In a sense, I think that this course, I feel, again, I don't know if everybody would agree here, but I feel that this course maybe is most relevant for seasoned studiers. Because like I said before, this is very often the missing link in the study of Chassidus and Kabbalah today. But again, obviously, if this is your first study, then you don't need any background. So it's valuable and relevant to anybody studying it.
So obviously, you're very passionate about it, and it sounds that you believe in the content. It sounds that you really do, which is great. If you would have to say what the course is lacking and what are the downsides, what will I not be getting from the course?
Okay, so first and foremost, and this is also like where I'm sensitive about, is what I said before. I mean, we're making a build-up here that boasting that there's no theory, there's no background, there's no concepts. The theory, the background, the concepts are a very important thing. I mean, definitely, personally for me, that's a study I've been devoted to for many years. So I don't know if that's something to boast so much, and we're not going to be giving that. So that lacking is something that's felt. I feel it when I go over the course. When I've taught it before in Hebrew, this is the first time in English, but when I've taught it before, I felt the lacking very much. I think people who are coming from a more seasoned background will feel that, even to the extent that because the structure and the way we're depicting things here is such that a person who's been studying even the nearest sources, not to mention the Arizal or the Zohar, but even if you've been studying Tanya or sources that are very near to what we're studying, still, I'm sure many seasoned studiers will feel that the way we're depicting things aren't familiar. Where is this coming from? So that's definitely a downside when you make a course like this, that you're just taking out the bottom line practicality of it, is that you lose the bridge to the roots of where this is coming from. So I have a dream, mamash, halevai, that we'll be able to do this later on, to make a back-end course, like maybe for teachers or for people who are coming from the background, not only teachers, also people who want to feel that these are trustworthy sources, and where is this stemming from, and we want to understand the broader picture. So that definitely a course like this lacks that broader picture. That's something I'm very sensitive about. The downsides, again, because it's so encapsulated, so there's a certain intensity to it. If we could give these contents over a longer period of study, things we could allow them to resonate more and allow more time for digestion. That's one of the reasons that we set the course to be a weekly session and then just put it all online at once, even though probably that's where it's going afterwards. But I think there's a big advantage to that there'll be a weekly class, and then you have a whole week to watch it at your leisure. You don't have to watch it live, but also to kind of digest things and also implicate them in that week. And during that week, ask questions. I mean, our system is going to be open for questions for all the participants, as many questions as you want. And Bezrat Hashem, Bli Neder will answer all the questions at the end of the following session, the next week. So the point of digestion, allowing these contents to seep in, is also something that when you encapsulate in 13 sessions, so you're losing the time, just like the pace. So it's somewhat fast-paced and maybe a bit intense. And the content here is very counterintuitive. So when you give something so counterintuitive, so not typically how people tend to approach their psychological negotiations, or even 180 degrees to how like common psychology or popular science views things. So it's also counterintuitive and also quick. So there's an intensity to it. I'd like to spread it out maybe a little bit more. That's another downside. And again, in the end, the teacher, the presenter is who he is, and either you have chemistry or you don't have chemistry. The content is there. The invaluable content is there, and a lot of effort has been put into giving it over in a manageable way. That if you devote yourself here to this course, and I mean, 13 sessions is not much, but if you devote yourself to it and you give your trust into it and work with this in your life, then I'm sure anyone will be able to see radical change, how this is completely life-altering, to live correctly, to learn how to live correctly, how to negotiate our lives correctly, which surprisingly not doing all the time. So with all those downsides, I think it's an invaluable structure, an invaluable backbone of knowledge to approach life with.
But you mentioned that the content is very counterintuitive. Can you explain why the content would feel so counterintuitive to someone that's studying it?
The two sides to that, I guess. I mean, there's our inherent intuition, which is opposite, and that needs explaining. We'll explain that over the course. The term in Chassidus for fixing something is turning it upside down. Itapcha, that's the word. That's the literal term for fixing. So every rectification needs to kind of go upside down and inside out. And also, it's just that we've acquired. I mean, people are coming to this course or to study usually not when they're 3 years old. So we've acquired all sorts of habits, not just the practical day-to-day habits, but patterns of thought, frames of mind. We're all in the midst of broad, intricate circumstances, and we're negotiating them from a point of view that is not the point of view that we're gonna study and acquire, and therefore implementing them is something that's counter to our acquired intuition. So it also counters inherent intuition. It also counters acquired intuition. I think that word counterintuitiveness is the most typical. Anybody who's been studying these contents before, I'm sure if people are listening to us, then they're smiling and saying that, yeah, that's the sensation of the study, that it makes so much sense and gives so much clarity, yet it's so counterintuitive. It's like, that's why there's maybe a feeling that it's hard. It's hard to, not because it's complicated, it's like bending backwards. But just like anything, you bend a stick backwards enough, it softens up, and then it maintains a healthier form. So there is definitely something very counterintuitive to this study.
Okay, wow, so that's amazing. Let me just ask you, you mentioned that you're thinking of doing a course for all the theory behind. Do you have any other courses up your sleeve, or is this going to be a one-time thing?
Okay, so also this was up my sleeve for too long a time. I guess in a dream session, in a dream scenario. So I'd like to have an array of courses. I mean, there are many topics, and we've taught many of them, but I don't think in such a course form. We've been teaching these things in different settings and audiences for many years, and the courses are even built, but they're not built as courses. Like what we've done here, to take it and really sit and take out of it a syllabus, an organized 13 sessions where I really know what's going to be said in each session. We've given it over several times already in Hebrew and gotten feedback and fixed it. There's that element of taking it and like making it professional in a way. Also the quality that people are accustomed and expecting when they go to a course today. So again, the Torah, it should be at least that professional. So it's a lot of work, guys. So as a dream, I'd love to take a lot of the contents, if it's mini courses or broad courses on relationships or on education or on matchmaking, and making a lot of courses in this sort of form. So that would be something I'd love to do, and there are a lot of topics up my sleeve. But I think that in any picture that we acquire, eventually we achieve, Bezrat Hashem, God willing, still this course would be the backbone. That's why I felt confident to give that the presumptuous name, Learning to Live, because I really think that like this would be the compulsory study. You have to hear this course just to understand the mindset, where things are coming from. And anything else would be somewhat complementary to this course. So this is like the skeleton of the frames of mind of Torah, of Jewish view on reality, on life, on self. And it should, and Bezrat Hashem will be complemented, if Hashem gives us koach to do this, by an array of many courses. But again, Chazal say, that you should say a little bit and do much. So we haven't done much yet, so I don't want to say too much either. But yes, we definitely aspire. We have these aspirations, and God willing, I hope the feedback on this course, and not just the feedback, but also the benefit, what people benefit from this course in their lives, will be such that it'll drive us to to do more of these courses and take more of this content and put it into what today is considered a palatable professional form. Bezrat Hashem, I hope we manage. I hope we manage this time, and then I hope we manage more times. Bezrat Hashem.
Bezrat Hashem. Tov mamash Bezrat Hashem. I definitely hope to get to see those courses. I think that sums us up very well. I want to tell our audience that we already have the first class online. You're very recommended to see it. It gives you a great taste of the course and what is waiting up ahead. It delves a bit deeper than our discussion here. And it's a great start to see if it's something that you're interested in going and committing to for the 13 sessions. There, Bezrat Hashem, will be a link somewhere around the screen that you should press. You'll be able to go in to see the site, to see the class, and enjoy it. We hope to see you at the course.